It's that time of year when ghosts haunt the woods and graves open up. It's so much fun. I'm going to quote Peter Brook when it comes to Shakespeare and ghosts. Peter said, "If you don't believe in ghosts, don't open a page of the canon." The plays are full of references to spirits and ghosts and souls. It's part of the great theatricality.
Magic and the supernatural are really fun for audiences, and Shakespeare knew fun better than anybody. It's a very interesting experience in the theater when you see something that is not just representing supernatural events. When you as an audience member see something that looks like it can't possibly be happening, and yet it is happening, it jolts you in a way that just a regular scene doesn't quite jolt you. Shakespeare has a way of sometimes putting in magical effects when he's dealing with a circumstance where the characters are experiencing magic. The idea of using a piece of magic in that context is that you put the viewer in the exact same position that the character's in. Let's take The Tempest as the really classic example. These characters all experience a storm that didn't really happen. And they're put on an island where they encounter visions that are not true. And they're all being provided by a sort of puppet master in the form of Prospero. I think it's a great idea, therefore, to pull the same kind of stunt on the audience that Prospero is pulling on the people who are on the island. That is to drive them a little crazy. You know, magic does drive you a little crazy because your senses and your knowledge come into direct collision and you feel like something's wrong. It's not a comfortable form to watch. You don't sit back at a magic show and go, oh, how nice that is. Nobody really does that. When they're watching a magic show, they always go, what? How's that being done? How's that being done? Which is exactly the experience that the people on the island are having. The opening scene is the scene of the storm, and the key event of the scene of the storm is that King Alonso sees his son Ferdinand drown. That's what drives Alonso for the entire show. That seems like the central event. So in our version of it, we decided to actually adapt a trick that Penn and I had developed over a number of years, in which someone seems to drown on stage, and they drown in a clear container. There's water in a big bowl, and Ariel, who is Prospero's primary henchman, takes Ferdinand and rams his face underwater and holds it and holds it and holds it. And everybody in the audience is going, he can sure hold his breath for a long time. That actor must be, you suppose that actor's a scuba diver? What's going on? He seems to be holding it. He seems to be going limp now. What's going on? Oh, he can't really be dead, can he? Which is the exact right thing for the show. Then once we decided that drowning Ferdinand was a good idea, we thought, well, we have a big bowl of water there. So maybe instead of just a storm, maybe we should see Prospero make the storm. And so we treated that big bowl as though it was the central prop of a piece of sympathetic magic, as they call it. That's voodoo dolls are sympathetic magic. So magic can sometimes clarify. That's a perfect use of it there. Now, in Macbeth, he's dealing tremendously with the difference between reality and Macbeth's wishful thinking, I guess you could say. There's this difference between what the prophecies actually mean and what they seem to mean, and with how each of the events is being interpreted. So again, a perfect place to put the audience in Macbeth's position so that they can be taken right along on the ride.
So foul and fair a day I have not seen.
How far is called the forest? What are these? So withered and so wild in their attire that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it.
Live you.
Or are you aught that man may question? You seem to understand me. By each one are choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips.
You should be women, yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are so.
Well, speak if you can. What are you?
All hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Glamis!
All hail, Macbeth! Hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor!
All hail, Macbeth! That shalt be king hereafter.
Good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? In the name of truth, are ye fantastical, or that indeed which outwardly ye show? My noble partner you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, and he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can, look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not. Speak then to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate.
Hail!
Hail, hail! Lesser than Macbeth, and greater. Not so happy, yet much happier.
Thou shalt father kings!
Kings, though thou be none. So all hail Macbeth and Banquo, Banquo and Macbeth, all hail.
Stay! You imperfect speakers, tell me more. By my father's death, I know that I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor?
Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman.
To be king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor.
Say, from whence you owe this strange intelligence?
Why, upon this blasted heath you stop our way with such prophetic greeting. Speak!
When I was working on my production of Macbeth, my ideas so frightened me that I remember closing my script in order to get away from my own thoughts, my own ideas. It frightened me. The blood, the what happened to the children. I can't even talk about it without terror, actually. So sometimes I scare myself.
Out, damn spot! Out, I say! 1, 2. Why then 'tis time to do it. Hell is murky! Fie, my lord, fie! A soldier and a feared. What need we fear? Who knows it? When none can call our power to account. Yet who would have thought the old man to have had so much blood in him?
Do you mark that?
The Thane of Fife had a wife. Where is she now? What? Will these hands ne'er be clean? No more that, my lord. No more that. You'll mar all with this starting.
Go to, you have known what you should not!
She has spoke what she should not. I am sure of that. Heaven knows what she has known. Here's the smell of blood still. All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
All the perfumes of Arabia will not sweeten this little hand.
What a sigh is there. The heart is sorely charged.
I would not have such a heart in my bosom for the dignity of the whole body.
This disease is beyond my practice, yet I have known those which have walked in their sleep who have died holily in their beds.
Your hands. Put on your nightgown. Look not so pale. I tell you yet again, Banquo's buried. He cannot come out of his grave.
Even so.
To bed. To bed. There's knocking at the gate. Come. what's done cannot be undone. To bed. To bed. To bed.
Some people have asked me, does Shakespeare really believe in superstition and in ghosts and all of that? He lost his beloved son when the boy was just 11 years old. And he lost a lot of other people in his life. I cannot believe that Shakespeare did not make contact with spirits that he felt around him. There is a reality of respect and indeed a comfort with Shakespeare and some ghosts, certainly not all of them. And Hamlet now, in terms of ghosts, we've got, the big one, dead old dad. Hamlet's father's ghost makes his appearance to soldiers, to the ordinary man, and then to Horatio. This is very, very important because then in this story, the ghost is absolutely real. Now, is he a good ghost? Is he a bad ghost? Is he really Satan in disguise? That's for the actors to work out themselves.
Howsoever thou pursuest this act, taint not thy mind, nor let thy soul contrive against thy mother aught. Lead her to heaven. Adieu. Adieu.
Remember thee. I, thou poor ghost, while memory holds a seat in this distracted globe. Remember thee. Oh, most pernicious woman. Oh, villain. Villain! Smiling, damned villain! That one may smile and be a villain. At least I'm sure it may be so in Denmark. So, uncle, there you are. Now, to my word, it is adieu. Adieu. Remember me.
The ghost looks just like Hamlet's dad, and the ghost is unconsolable, it's miserable and in pain. And if you happen to be his son, it kills your heart to see your father, even as a ghost, in so much pain. Later in the play, however, Hamlet starts questioning what he saw. I mean, maybe he was from the other side. Maybe he's from hell, a ghost that wants me to murder and do evil things in place of him. So all of this questioning happens as we move through Hamlet. But there is no question that ghost is for real. Finding the visuals for these moments for really 34 years now has happened when I'm in the script, when I'm really in a Shakespeare script, and you do a deep dive and nothing else really exists but you and what's going on in that script at that second of time. I see things in my mind. It's not a thought. I don't think them through. I actually visualize them and try and make them happen. And we have such a brilliant, tech team that there's never been, I don't think there's been anything that I've seen up here that hasn't been on the stage, brilliantly executed by our staff, brilliantly executed.
Hello, and welcome to the catacombs at Chicago Shakespeare Theater.
My name is Chris Plevin, and tonight we have the exciting opportunity to share with you how we create some of the blood and gore and ghosts and goblins that are woven throughout Shakespeare's plays. I'm here with Persephone Lawrence Westcott, who is responsible for many of the props you see on our stages. Shakespeare's plays need more severed limbs than one might think, and Persephone, sometimes those severed heads have to look like the actors in our cast. So how do you make that happen?
It's a casting and molding process called live casting. Using a product that is safe for skin application, we pour the product onto the actor, fully covering the surface that we need the copy of. After it cures, we'll have a perfect mold of that actor's face or hand or foot. Then we can fill that mold with another material like plaster or silicone. From that finished cast, we will paint, disfigure, or otherwise adapt the actor's severed body part.
What about if it's not something that we can cast?
Yeah, when we can't make a copy or a body prop has more specific needs, like a roasted boar, we'll often sculpt these pieces in-house. And then we have talented artisans who make them as real or as gory as needed.
From stabbings and decapitations, beheadings and sword fights, we work with all kinds of blood and gore in our work here. And we're very fortunate today to have with us Kathy Tantillo, our costume design assistant. What can you tell us about all of the different kinds of blood that we use on our stages here at Chicago Shakespeare?
When we can, we try and use painted blood because it's dry, so you can control what it looks like. Other times we like to use stage blood, and this can vary from a very liquidy stage blood to a more gel-like stage blood. This is an example of a blood pack that is a dog speaker with the sound taken out. An actor will palm this, and then when the time comes, they can just squeeze it and get blood all over their garment.
That's really, really gross, Kathy, and really realistic. Whether it is swamps or graveyards, low-lying fog is a great tool to help us highlight the supernatural in our productions. And here to share a little bit with us about that today is our lighting supervisor, Mac Voigt. So Mac, I know that most of the time when people think about low-lying fog, they think about dry ice.
Dry ice can be expensive, very hard to control the fog. So we do it with this machine up here is the fog machine that generates the smoke effect. And then this device here, this is our fog air conditioner. It's a cryogate device. It uses a tank of liquid carbon dioxide to chill the fog and keep it laying low to the ground, so it creates that really nice spooky atmosphere.
So the last element we have to share with you today, the ghost light. So the story goes, the ghost light is here to chase off mischievous spirits who might otherwise come into the theater in the evenings. So most nights, once we all go home, the ghost light is here glowing until we're back the following day. But you know what? It's Halloween, so let's let the ghosts have some fun. Happy Halloween.
So Shakespeare rather liberally uses gore. Howard Hawks, the famous, wonderful film director of many film classics, said, if you want to get an audience's attention, hurt somebody really badly in the first few minutes of the show, of the film. And Shakespeare certainly was aware that people take things very seriously if there's a sense of life and death. The presence of violence, it's obviously make-believe violence, in the theater is quite pervasive. And when it's not there, you kind of feel like there's something missing.
Die, prophet, in thy speech. For this, amongst the rest, was I ordained.
Aye, and for much more slaughter after this. O God, forgive my sins. and pardon thee?
What? Will the aspiring blood of Lancaster sink in the ground I thought it should have mounted? See how the world weeps for the poor king's death. May such purple tears be always shed by those that wish the downfall of our house. If any spark of life be yet remaining, down to hell, and say I sent thee thither, I that have neither pity, love, nor fear.
There's something about the beauty of spirits that would be lovely to touch on.
You can't get better than Our Rebels Now Are Ended speech in The Tempest. That's just about as good a description of, well, the theater as anything that's ever been. And it's a quote about magic. I like that.
Be cheerful, sir. Our revels now are ended. These are actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits, and are melted into air, into thin air. And like the baseless fabric of this vision, the cloud-capped towers, the gorgeous palaces, the solemn temples, the great globe itself, yea, all which it inherits shall dissolve, and like this insubstantial pageant faded, leave not a rack behind. We are such stuff as dreams are made of. And our little life is rounded with a sleep.
These our actors, as I foretold you, were all spirits and are melted into air, into thin air. And there's that, for me, when I think about Shakespeare, I think that he saw the spirit of his son. I think all of us in our dreams have seen spirits or felt them around us. And while Halloween is scary, spirits may not always be scary. They can be comfort too. They can bring comfort also.
Freedom, high day. High day, freedom. Freedom, high day. High day, freedom. Freedom, freedom, high day. High day. Freedom, high day. Freedom, 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 freedom.